Good evening, everyone. It's a land exchange that caused a stir from Alaska to our nation's capital. And today, Interior Secretary Deb Haaland rescinded that land swap in Izembek National Wildlife Refuge to build a road between King Cove and Cold Bay. The department says it found that the 2019 agreement had several procedural flaws and was not consistent with departmental policy. Lexi Overton reports on the reaction to Haaland's decision.
It's been a controversial land exchange for years, but today, Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland announced it won't take place, at least not under the current plan, effectively protecting the Izembek Refuge for the time being.
The Izembek Refuge itself is one of the areas that has been designated and protected for decades because of its importance for wildlife, for waterfowl, for habitat and ecology.
Secretary Haaland has withdrawn the land exchange between the Interior Department and King Cove Corporation that was authorized in 2019. The proposal would have transferred approximately 200 acres within the Izembek National Wildlife Refuge to the state of Alaska, making it possible for the state to build a single-lane gravel road between the communities of King Cove and Cold Bay. Della Trumbull, who's the CEO for the King Cove Corporation, had talked with Secretary Haaland about the decision and says Haaland has agreed to work with them. Advocates for the road say this is a life or death decision, as it would connect King Cove to life-saving resources, Cold Bay's airport.
There's been a total of 206 medevacs since December 2013. 28 which were Coast Guard assists coming directly into King Cove, and then 178 non-Coast Guard.
Trumbull emphasized that in those years, a total of 18 deaths have been associated with the lack of land access, either due to plane crashes or an inability to reach timely medical treatment. But Trumbull says after talking to Haaland today, she also feels encouraged.
We had a phone call with her. It was emotional on all sides. I think she supports the land exchange and a road.
But conservation organizations have been urging Haaland to reject the land exchange in order to protect the 100 million acres of Alaska's public lands for future generations and protect ANILCA. Trustees for Alaska represents 13 organizations in litigation challenging the land exchange.
But from what we've seen so far, it does look like an important first step to protecting the Izembek National Wildlife Refuge. We have some questions about what some of the next steps may be that the Secretary may take and what that means not just for the Izembek Refuge, but for conservation and subsistence lands across Alaska.
Some Alaska leaders reacted to the withdrawal of the land exchange with criticism. Senator Dan Sullivan saying in part, quote, "This decision is the latest act in Secretary Haaland's disingenuous playbook. Tell Alaskans, particularly Alaska Native people, that you support something like Alaska Native Vietnam-era veteran allotments or the King Cove Road, and then purposely delay it for years so it can never actually happen." Governor Dunleavy says in part, quote, "While Secretary Haaland claims that she wants to consider alternative land exchanges, that will push the entire process to square one and place the lives of King Cove residents at risk today." Secretary Haaland says her team is now reviewing previous proposals for a land exchange, ones that she say will uphold the integrity of the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act. Lexi Overton, Alaska's news source.